As of today's recording, today is July 22nd, and Pokemon has released their Summer Spectacular. We've got some new Legends ZA content today. Let's just sit down and talk about it. All right, welcome back, everybody. For those of you who are already subscribed to the channel, thank you. It's good to see you again. Moving forward, we're going to be doing a lot more content like you're seeing here today. Cards have dried up. It's hard to get a hold of stuff. I'm just generally not all that excited. So we're going to sort of transition into more of these talking head pieces. This is how I can interact with you and appease the YouTube gods. So anyways, without further ado, we're just going to go right to it. When we talk about the Legends series, I want to make one thing clear. I'm a fan. I was a big hater of Scarlet and Violet. Thought Legends Arceus, despite its lower sort of fidelity, not super like in your face, these graphics are awesome. I still really enjoy the game, and I liked one thing in particular quite a bit, and that was the style. You could say additionally they introduced a whole lot of new mechanics that were completely novel to the Pokemon experience, and for me personally, they really paid off. Now, in that same vein, in Legends ZA, we're seeing something similar here. Now, if you watched my last video, I kind of broke down the trailer piece by piece. I'm actually not doing that exactly today. I'm going to include clips of the trailer, but if you want to see that content, if you missed the previous content that Pokemon gave us for Legends ZA, go watch that. I'll link it down below. So, style. Right off the bat, you're greeted with this very, in my opinion, different from what we've seen in the past, specifically with like Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. With this, we have a lot. I mean, we have new ball animations, a very, very like unique sort of city future styling to a lot of the characters. In Scarlet and Violet, you saw a lot of like kind of like over the top, sort of silly and like almost like caricatures of you know, like the guy that's the chef who's got this huge ridiculous apron on and the giant bald head and monobrow. I don't know. I feel like here we're a little bit more grounded, a lot of emphasis on style. In that same vein, they've done something that I've been praying to see, and that is more customization for your actual character. In addition to the customization, we have what appears to be, you know, a little bit older of a main character and just the general cast. One of the annoying parts in Scarlet and Violet is I felt weird interacting with all these adults. And I know you're going to the academy, you're learning Pokemon, the ropes, but you're like 10 years old. You're like a child, and it just feels a little ridiculous to just crush these people that are like, you know, 30, 40-year-old veterans to Pokemon and just absolutely wipe the floor with them. So here, seems like we've got more of like a maybe high school. I wouldn't say, you know, college necessarily, but a little bit older, and I appreciate that just because I don't know, it seems to feel a little bit more realistic, grounded. I don't know, but to me, the sort of distillation of it all is that you have a very, very, like, in my opinion, confident looking style. We're greeted with like, you know, the hotel that looks super cool and like swanky, all these different clothing options. Again, all the characters have like a pretty like not crazy over the top design to them. A couple of them are a little bit of like silly looking, but like for the most part, I think they all look pretty cool. As far as the character creation options go specifically, I mean, it looks like they've just given us pretty much all we could need. I mean, you know, you're not going to get some Oblivion character creation here, and I don't think anyone really wants that anyways, but I like to, I don't want to say role play, but if I've got a team of like ultra badass dragon Pokemon and my only options are to like the school's uniform, like some little shorts and some dinky slippers, I feel it kind of takes me out of it. So this is a big win for me personally, and I would like to see more, obviously, but given what we've been shown, this is a great step in the right direction. Now, obviously, we're going back to the X and Y era. That was the era of the Megas. Love it or hate it, the Megas are back. And it looks like they're kind of doubling down on some of the designs. We get a little taste of Dragonite. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's cool. You know, I think as far as megas go, it should just be a sort of like an additive to the experience, and it shouldn't be a completely new beast. Maybe you disagree, but there are some cases where this doesn't really play out, like Venusaur, for instance, and maybe even Blastoise. I mean, the designs are like, Venusaur especially is just like, great, thank you, more flower, more plant. And the story seems to be pretty much centered around that. This idea that the Pokemon are mega evolving on their own, just rogue mega evolutions left and right. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, as far as like new content, we don't get any of the like, who are the starters? Like, what are their evolutions going to be? Are we going to get regional forms? Are we going to get just their megas? No, from what I saw, and I've watched the video a couple times now, Pokemon, when they do these trailers, everything that's included is intentional. There's nothing that's like, oops. So everything you see is designed for you to notice and to sort of extrapolate from. You know, here's our ideas. If they exclude something, which excluding the starter evolutions to the very, very end is not uncommon. This is something they tend to do pretty much every time. But we do get a taste of all the returning megas. We get a taste of the new Mega Dragonite, and we get to see more specifically content of the actual battles. When I saw the changes to the battle structure, where it was this sort of like kind of real time, seemingly not totally real time, ARPG style, my immediate reaction was like, hell yeah, here we go. Like, finally something fresh. Because, you know, as long as there's a mainline series, we're always going to get the tried and true turn-based combat, right? So in a Legends game, you know, in the previous Legends title, Arceus, they introduced the whole, like, you can just throw your ball and capture stuff out in the wild. You can, you know, it's all sort of like a real-time event. I feel like they're kind of like really expanding on that this time around. And although I'm excited, it does bring a few concerns. So your Pokemon's going in for a physical attack. Clearly, you gotta get close, make contact. But what I've noticed in a lot of these clips, the two combatives are like right up on top of each other. So in between using those moves, are they just gonna be standing like face to face? When I saw that, I was like, I was mostly curious, like how does the movement work? There's a shot where you'll see Dragonite sort of like following the main character, and this kind of took me back to the Arceus boss battles, you know, where you're running around the arena dodging and doing this and that. It's like the same thing, but your Pokemon's doing it with you now. This could be really cool, but this could also present some really odd, sort of clunky issues. Like I said, if your Pokemon's just staring dead in the eyes of, like, in this case, we had the Ampharos versus the Arbok. What are you doing? You're just taking turns smacking each other? Like, maybe this is more like Oblivion than I expected. But to me, that is a little, I don't know, it could come off as really, like, silly, and, like, I don't think it necessarily has to be like it was in the turn-based, where there's, like, this sort of gap between. But, you know, go in for an attack and maybe reset your position makes more sense to me, but I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, the combat kind of, from what I can tell, reminds me a little bit of like Arceus, but almost like the KOTOR gameplay, right? It's turn-based, you know, from like a D&D perspective, but it's real time, right? It's all happening in front of you. Your characters will pause in their animation, or rather, they'll complete an animation and then pause and sort of reset their stance. It feels a lot like that. Now, two additional things they sort of, I wouldn't say debuted, but really kind of gave us a little bit more on is the day and night cycle and the sort of like competitive like hierarchy, the ranking system that they have. Now, the day and night cycle, from what I can tell, during the day, you're just sort of exploring, customizing, interacting with people, catching Pokemon, all your usual stuff. But then when night falls, the city turns into this sort of like battle arena. Thematically, seems pretty cool. It's like this underground, you know, I'm gonna hurt you. What I like about this is that in tandem you have this battle ranking. You know, you start out on level Z in you, I guess, presumably make your way all the way up to A. And then along the way, you're introduced to these sort of like gym battle type scenarios where they show this guy who's like the, you know, the Yakuza boss type thing. It looks like a standard gym, but then you walk inside and it's like there's like almost like a cut scene where the character's walking into the arena and interacting with him, and then there's this whole fight. I found this really interesting in particular because there's actually some sort of direction present, right? You have these shots that are not necessary, like, you know, you're not in control of the scenario, and I think this is actually really cool. How prevalent these are going to be is hard to say now, but I think this could be a pretty sweet little change. A little further on, they kind of go back to the customization section. They introduce the new camera system. You know, it's cute, right? I'm not gonna sit there and really like lean into it, but I do appreciate features like this. They are a little bit of like flavor text, so to speak. I think that the more fun you have, or you can have a lot more fun in these games if you're able to sort of immerse yourself in this idea that this is your team and that you have a bond with these characters, right? Speaking of characters, this is a big one. The city itself, okay? One of my biggest gripes with Arceus, hated the one singular town that you went to, the sort of hub location. It was boring, it was tedious, everything was spaced out arbitrarily, you know, a bunch of empty, useless houses. One of my big concerns with this game when I heard it was in one giant city was like, is the city gonna suck? Because if it sucks and it's tedious to get around, well, that's the whole game, right? So I'm actually pleasantly surprised to see a little bit of diversity in these environments. You know, you have alleyways and you have little tucked in sort of boroughs, these little sections of the city that really seem to kind of have their own like look and personality to them, especially in some of the like districts where you're doing your shopping and things like that. Beyond that, we do have side quests coming back, which for me is either going to be a huge win or like a big negative, because I like the idea of side quests, but again, Arceus, very tedious. Go here, do this, go back, talk to this person, like this back and forth, like real sort of like antiquated quest system. We did see a little bit of like what you get for completing these quests, you know, things like TMs, experience, the same experience that we had in Scarlet and Violet, the small, extra small, medium, large, extra large, etc. Those are back, which is a welcome addition because sometimes I'm not trying to grind, and rare candies are, well, they're rare. So, and then sort of as a conclusion to the video, you have this big battle between Mega Tyranitar, Mega Dragonite, and was it Krokorok or whatever. This is where we kind of get the most you know, this is like our raid battles in a way. Maybe not multiplayer, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, probably, if I had to guess. But it's also in-game, like, hey, here's a big boss fight, and you have multiple combatants on the field at one time. This is where the jank will really show itself, though. If this combat system that they're introducing isn't pretty tight, it's going to feel like just a cluster, you know? I hope there's still the availability to shiny hunt. Obviously, that's my thing. So without that, I'm going to be upset. But hopefully it's got a little bit of interest for everyone. Questing, battling, catching, hunting, whatever. Even the whole accessorization thing. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, as long as the battle system works and as long as the quest tedium isn't insurmountable, I think we got a good game on our hands. I mean, we've got, what, 2 months, 3 months? Less than 3, actually, now at this point. And, yeah. The TCG is clearly moving on from Scarlet and Violet. I mean, we're officially in a new sort of sub-era before we get the next mainline game. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited because without access to cards these days, this is the best way for me to put some content together. So I hope you like it. And if you don't, just let me know. Leave a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed by now, please consider. It's free and it's great for me. So yeah, folks, thank you as always. be looking forward to some of the content coming up. I've been working on a video for a while now, a couple weeks, and yeah, I think you'll like it. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one, folks. I love you so much. Adios.